All right, so, man. All right, I'm gonna be out here with this, right? Like, so, man, for me, like, I believe, like, I'm a pantheist, so like, I believe like everything is God. It's like the will of God, like. The way I see it, right? Like here's God is spirit. Like okay, like I don't. It's not a him, her, whatever. But for the sake of the story, it's a him. You know, God, he's up there. He's playing with us. This you know the thing of like when you used to play with action figures, right? And all of a sudden you're like oh, I'm gonna be Michelangelo, and maybe I'm gonna be dating April, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like so he creates like all these elaborate stories of like what he wants to happen, and like all of a sudden like. Man, that's it. Like, you're the vessel, man. You're the artist. You're the tattoo artist.
So, okay, here's the flip side of that. Do you think that God simply... Like, you could say he's playing with us up there. I take that as, like... Let's say we had a thought...
No. So not up there. Like, I mean, like, man, he's like in us. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like... It's like, man, I want to be born as somebody who doesn't have fucking eyesight because, like, I want to see what that's like. He's just trying to, like, mix, like, all these different experiences to, like, feel it all.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
In the end, man, like, to me, it's like, man, we're all just, like, one supreme being.
You say everything's God's will, so, like, even... So that includes, like, I guess every random thought, right? Then, like,
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Like, I just had a random thought, but, oh, that's just a thought of just, like, a supreme being. I don't even want to say supreme being as much as I want to say, like, the flow of the grand conscious, you know? Okay, yeah.
I could go with that.
Okay.
You probably know, like, you know, I used to be, like, pretty, like, religious and stuff, and then, like, it's, like, the more I was, like, digging into scripture and shit, it was, like, saying that, like, you know, there's... You know, nothing happens without God's permission. So, like, I'm, like, you know, even thinking of that, like, okay, like, does that mean, like, ideas and thoughts and the whole, like, okay, think of this, like, a fucking, like, you know, supreme being, right, that, like, the thought of him having, like, a nemesis, like, dude, that's a fucking joke. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, like, man, he created that out of boredom. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, like...
Man, you know what sticks to me to this day? I remember you were going through this, like, period of, like, really deciphering the Bible, and you had told me about how you thought Jesus was the grand deceiver.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. I think about that shit all the time, bro. Like, all the time. It's man, he's totally right about that shit. It's like, because God simply said, like, just don't worship anybody else. And then he brings his son... And everyone starts worshiping.
Yeah, no. The Old Testament literally ends with like, "You will be tested. Do not worship anybody but me." And then all of a sudden, dude, all of a sudden Jesus enters and like the entire world just changed. Dude, that gets like broken like fucking 2 pages in. like you know, like everybody's just like. Oh, okay. Well, hey, we like this idea better. Like,
right. What did I just say?
yeah, dude. Like, it didn't take very long. Like, you know what I mean? I've kind of forgot about that.
No, yeah, I totally don't. Because then, like, people will be talking. Like, there's this like huge thing about how people talk about how like about like Jesus and the Lord and like. Just follow his teachings and like how he's just like everyone puts so much stock in him, and like every time I see people doing that and how they think it's the most righteous way, I just be like, man, this is crazy, because this all just seems like a trick to me now. It's just like, you're not supposed to be doing this. It's different if you just listen to his teachings and what he was trying to teach you without trying to like deify him is what I'm trying to say. Like, so you know about Shaman King, right?
No.
Shaman King is this manga about shamans who talk to spirits and they can use spirits to like fight and shit, but the goal is like this huge thing called the shaman fight in Tokyo, and the winner of this fight, they're like, you have an oversoul and you have to fight other spirits, but the winner of this fight, their oversoul becomes like the great spirit. And they had talked about how like other Sama kings of the past are like Buddha and like fucking Muhammad and Jesus. And I was like, yeah, that makes more sense to me. A person who... Okay, before I say this, you think it's possible for a person to actually really talk to God and then they are taught something by them and then, like, he gives those teachings and that's what...
So...
Like, the Bible is and shit? Like, is it literally...
No, but you know, I do think, you know, God is just everything. It's like inspiration. It's ideas. It's, you know... It's everything. Like, literally.
So I think, like... It's okay to now. What is like morality, right? Is it just all the golden rules? Then I guess it's just all the golden rules. Just treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah, I feel that's fair. You know,
everything just branches off of that. Like, how would you want that to happen to you? Then don't do that to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but some people just don't give a fuck. But I guess that's all just in the realm of like. See, I can't believe in karma then, rather than just like the flow of the energy. I only want to say karma like action reaction, just karma like for every person who's like wants to live in a way that's more this way. There's an opposite way. I feel like that's like as above so below, as like people want to say like how that's satanic, but that makes sense to me in the fact that for everything that is something, there's thing that's the opposite of it. I don't think that's like karmic as much as just like if everything exists, every possibility exists, and therefore it's like, of course something like that's gonna happen if something like this happens, if something like that can happen. So I don't know.
I mean, I think, man, just
it's just all, you're right about the intention thing.
Going on a tangent about that's satanic, man. Man, any like free thought or anything was like considered like satanic. Like any deep understanding. I mean, dude, it's just...
Man, they really just want to breed mindless people who just like, oh, believe in God, and that's it. All we're all gonna do is just sit 12 hours a day just praying, eating crackers, and then praying again. Like, devout like practitioners of like religion is like, at one point, like it's okay to like praise the idea of like the creator, right? I understand that, but at one point, do you just become like a vessel for praise rather than just like living within the creation? There's so many people like, I'm just gonna pray and I'm gonna go to church and I'm gonna be so devout and like deprive myself of like the idea of the fruits of what the world has to offer. Like, why would they think that rather than wanting to experience what God's created, they like act that way in order to be someone who is more closer to God, you know? Why is like just like becoming just a mindless puppet with no like, not exploring the free, it's even not exploring the consciousness throughout, not exploring God's consciousness through the vessel. Why do you just want to become a person who just constantly praises the person who puts you in the vessel, you know? Like, and then you just become a devout practitioner of fucking religion. It's just like, I feel like that's just like a adverse reaction, or like the bad idea, the wrong idea with religion, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but those are the people think are just the most devout. Like, oh, they're definitely going through like the quote unquote idea of heaven because they like threw away their life for one. I won't even say throw away their life. You know what I mean? Though, it's like they didn't, well, like they just focused on that. Mm.
But man, like the idea of heaven does not sound exciting at all to me, dude. I'm good. Like I don't know, like anything that's like considered a sin is like, you know, won't be in heaven, so that's stupid as fuck. But man, to the devout thing, I don't know if it was like a meme or like I seen it or heard it or something, but like, man, just like imagine like, you know, you're living your life like that and like just fucking boring as shit, like And that's when like you die, and there is a heaven, right? You get to the the gates or whatever, you get let through, and like you see God, and you're just like, he's like, so how is heaven? Like, like what do you?
I just spent my time making sure I could get into heaven.
Yeah.